Hey, Smartlead crew. Today we're going to see an inbox management system built directly within Slack with a bunch of different features, such as being able to respond with a custom response, being able to create your own template and use those within the response, get the history of the whole conversation, and also being able to track the lead response time so you can have a sense of what is that looking like over all your leads. So with that said, first off, I want to show you what this is actually looking like. So here we have an example of a response that you will get from the system. Here you have 3 different buttons. You can check to create a template response, a custom response, or get the old history. So I will start with a custom response first, and the custom response looks something like that, where you just write your own message, and the system will be able to translate this message into HTML and send that through the Smartlead interface. The cool thing, though, is when it comes to the templated response. So here you can create your own template. We use Clickup for that, and I will show you that in a second. And so with those custom templates, we can create custom template to respond, such as this one that automatically creates an acknowledgement message to send to the leads. So with that said, this is a little bit of an overview, and now let's start with the actual build out and the actual system. So as you can see here, there are a couple of different components within the system. This is mainly built using make.com, which is this automation platform that we use, as well as Clickup, which is the platform that we are using right now to keep track of all the responses, as well as keep track of all the different templates that we use. So we will start with the first part, which is sending the actual email into Slack. So what we are doing here is we are using the Smartlead webhooks to receive an email, get the lead information. So every information about the lead, such as name, first name, website, and all the custom fields also is what we can get from here. We can format the time zone, and this is important later on, so that we are able to use the correct time zone, and then we create the lead over here. So when creating the lead, we can add a bunch of different information. The most important ones are campaign ID, reply message, email status ID, and all the information that allows us to later on send an actual message. So here I just added a couple of information, but keep in mind you can make this as long as you want directly within Clickup by adding custom fields. So for example, if you want to keep track of specific custom fields within the system, you can do that, provided that you always use similar names. And this creates an interactive message like the one that you saw over here. So in this interactive message, we mention the lead email, the lead company, the formatted time, as well as the Clickup lead ID, which is something that we will need later on. And then here you have the possibility to do a bunch of different stuff, as you saw. So you have the 3 different buttons that you can choose. Now, what I will do is I would like to show you the next part, which is the part related to Slack interactivity. One important thing is that when you are working within Slack, you need to create some kind of system to interact with Slack and being able to create templates, create modals, and things like that. So this can be done by creating a Slack application. And when you are creating the application, in the interactivity tab, you have 2 different things. You have the interactivity part, where you need to put a request URL. So this is the request URL that we put. And this is the same as this webhook over here that we use. This makes sure that if we perform some sort of action within Slack, this is triggered, and this allows us to do another kind of actions within the system. So here we have a bunch of different actions, and I will show you that in a second. And the other important thing, which is less important but still very useful when it comes to looking at the data, is the select menus. And I will show you this part later on. So when it comes to the Slack interactivity here, we have a bunch of different options. So first off, we have the templated response. So The templated response allows us to open the modal. So the modal is this alert over here that we can use and we can personalize. Then we have the custom response, which is the other one that you saw previously, and then finally here we have the send response history. In the send response history, we just send a message as a threaded message, and this allows to get a full sense of the whole conversation without clogging up the inbox management part over here. And then finally over here, we have a couple of additional things for the view submission. So this is the part that happens when you click on the select template or send to Smartlead directly within one of the models. So in this way, we can create a complex workflow directly within Slack. So this is an example of that. And now let's come back to the third point over here. The third element here is the templated response. So this is a little bit complicated, but bear with me for a second. So what we do over here is we want to create a different templated response in a sort of dynamic way within the system itself. So here we have three different responses that we can choose because those are the ones that are being configured directly within the template section of Clickup. So here we have get availability, acknowledgement, and share time. Those are just example of possible message that we can use. And this is the actual template that we use over here, as well as the template value and this field called requires code.com. So those are example of messages that we can use. And you can add as many templates as you want, provided that you have the information either within the template response workflow or within the custom fields the custom fields part directly into Clickup. So for example, in the system, we are able to access information such as first name and last name, or also other additional information if we put that over here, as well as other information. Now, let me show you what we are actually doing here. First off, we are getting the lead information. So we are getting everything that is related to the lead. And then we are searching for the template that we selected within the interface here. So as you can see here, we have these three different templates. And we can, by selecting one of those, we select the specific template value. So this value over here that is present over here. And then by selecting that specific value, we get the template. So by getting the template here, we have a bunch of different actions. So these two actions are dynamic actions based on different workflows that we can create. So for example, if a template has acknowledgement email as a variable inside, what we can do here is we can write an acknowledgement snippet in the message and set that as this acknowledgement email. This will be used later on when we need to compose the whole system. Then the other interesting part is related to the availability. So here we have a calendly/cal.com availability. So this is the function that allows us to create a series of times and dates that we can use based on our cal.com account or one cal.com account that we have access to. So this one, we use this template equal to get availability, or if the template requires cal.com. So in this way, only templates that have this one checked are going through this part over here. What we do then is we first off, we set the availability and time zone. So what we want to do here is set the dates where we are available, as well as the time zone to format the actual times. We get this week availability or the overall availability. And if we find some availabilities, we select those availabilities using this ChatGPT block. And once we select those availability, we get a result like the following, where we have different dates, different times, different dates and different times. And if we wanted to, we can also create a customized message directly over here. So here, for example, I created a message that says we have an opening at date at specific time or time 2. What we did over here later on is we get the specific blocks, so the specific 30 minutes blocks of availability formatted directly within ChatGPT, and then first off check if the dates are the same, and if they are not, we format the dates and the times over here. This is very important because this allows us to get specific dates where you are available or not, and also specific times within those dates where you are available or not. And then we have another part over here. So if the templates contains our message, this means if you have a specific kind of availability message that you would like to send to your users, you can craft those messages over here. And here I added one, but you can add a bunch more. So in this instance, we have a message that says we have an opening at date. We have an opening in this specific date at this specific time, and this is EST. And also we have another slot in another day. So this is the part related to creating these different availabilities of times and availabilities of dates. Finally, what we do over here is we create the message. So this is the last component and probably one of the more technical components. And what we do over here is we first off get all the variables that are present within the system. So those are all the different variables that we created within the system previously. So for example, all the dates, all the times, and the acknowledgement email, the our message. We aggregate those, we extract the variables that are present within the templates. So in the templates, as you saw over here, we have different variables which are within these curly brackets. And if variables are within these curly brackets, those are extracted directly over here. And then what we do here is we create a process where we replace those variables automatically. So in this way, if the variable is present within this part of the system over here, or is present within the custom fields, we can create this in a dynamic way and then update the modal with a message. So let me show you an example over here. So here we have a get availability template. Here we have two variables over here. We have a first name and then we have an our message. So if we go over here and click on this get availability and select the template, this will process the message. And what we will do is we will have this path over here, which we will go through. So getting all the dates and everything, and also formatting the message like so, as well as this part over here where we get all the different information such as the first name, for example. So in this way, we are able to create a message like the following. Howdy support, which is the name that was found over here. So this is a support test webhook. So this is the first name, but this is actually the name of the lead. Glad you're ready to scale. Let's take action. We have an opening at so this part over here is all custom generated directly within the template, and you can add a bunch more templates if you wanted to directly within here. So here you just add the name of the template itself, the template value, and these templates, by the way, are automatically added to the system. So here, for example, here I would add a new template such as hey, acknowledgement with time. So what I can do over here is I can create a template like the following, and here add something like I'm available at date 1, time 1, 1. how does that work for you? So this variable is present directly over here uh, in uh, um, in this part over here in the acknowledgement script. Meanwhile, these other variables are the ones that we generate to the system. And here we add a name. So for example, we add acknowledgement with time. We say that it requires cal.com. And then right now, if we go back over here, we click on template response. What we can see is that this was added within the system. When we select that, the system will go through and first off do this part over here, do the calendar availability, and also create the actual message itself. So as you can see here, this is how this was created. This is, by the way, created by ChatGPT. So this is an example that shows you can create all sorts of templates directly within the system. Next step over here is the part related to dynamic options. So you saw right now that we were able to add a template, and the template automatically appears over here within the system. This is the part that generates that. So here we have a URL to select the menus, and this is connected to the field to select the templates. So once a person clicks on that specific field, we list all the templates over here. We format that in a way that Slack wants, and then we send this response back to Slack. So in this way, we are able to add as many templates as we want within our system, such as Clickup or Airtable, and then being able to have those reflected directly over here with little to no work. So this is this part, and then we have the two additional thing over here. We have the part related to get the whole lead conversation. So what happens when you click on that get history part? This is now not working with this specific system because we don't have any kind of conversation. But what it does is we get the lead info, so we get the lead information, we get the history of that specific lead, and then we format it in a way that makes it more readable for the lead. And this allows to have the whole conversation in a thread that you can see later on. And last point is this point over here where we send the message to Smartlead. So what we do over here is we get the information of the lead, we format the response into HTML so that this can be sent by the Smartlead system, and then here we respond to the email. If we want to, we can also apply the lead categories such as automatic follow-up or whatever the case might be, and then in this part over here, we update the response time. So the response time is the difference between when you receive the response vs when you actually send out the reply. This is very useful to track to have as a KPI for your inbox management, your inbox managers. So you can see what is the response type look like. And in this way, we have this information stored directly within Clickup, and we send also this information directly through Slack. So, for example, if I go over here right now and I go to template response, I select a template such as acknowledgement, for example. This processes the response. The response takes a couple seconds to finish, and then once this is finished, we have this message over here. We click on send, and once we click on send, this workflow will go through, and this will update the response sorted. So in this way, the response is sorted in 1 minute, for example, and then here we also have a message that mentions how long did it take to actually sort the response. So this is pretty much all for the system. As you see, this is not just a single component, but a set of different components that together form a very cohesive and complete system. So if you like this, hope this was useful. Hope you can get some value out of that and learn what is actually possible by building this kind of system directly also within Slack and using the powerful API of Smartlead. With that said, that's everything on my side. Hope this was useful. Hope you got some value, and catch you in the next one. Bye bye.